Good morning, everybody. Just want to introduce one of my dear friends, Marc Siegel. I met Marc at a Tony Robbins event, and that's when literally it was pretty interesting. He started talking to me about his CBD company and just the passion and the conviction of his product. First of all, I loved his style and I was like, wow, like this is somebody I could learn from. And as the conversation went on, he's like, oh, I'm going to be in Long Island in a couple of months. So I was like, oh, this is my perfect opportunity because I asked him, like, oh, well, if you don't mind, like, I'd love to help you. And that led into not only a great friendship, but I learned so much from Marc. We spent, how many hours did we spend there that day?
9. I think it was 9 before our snowball fight.
So then it snowed, and Marc lives with his wife in Florida, West Palm Beach, right?
Jupiter, Florida. Yeah, about 20 minutes from West Palm.
And, we're having a snowball fight. Karma hit me. I fell. And then we met some friends out for the UFC fight.
Yep.
And, dude, I don't think either of us, anticipated Tony being in the ring with Conor McGregor. I think we both looked at each other and lost it when we saw that after he knocked Cowboy out in a minute.
Yes, but we were the only two people in the bar that knew that he walked in that ring with certainty. And we said, and we could have cleaned house on that bar, but
I did. Did you see the pile of money?
A couple shots, some money, and all that, and said this is over before it started. And
Literally.
30-something seconds later, done.
So something that I admire about, another thing I admire about you is just your passion to help people. And I believed it so much that I wanted to be a part of it. Not even really knowing too much about the business. I think that's a huge lesson that I've been learning in entrepreneurship is to really believe, not only believe in your product, because your product is magic, obviously, but also to just want to help people in a large scale. So and I know this is a new company, but you've been successful in it. How did you pivot and find passion in it?
Absolutely. So first, thank you for having me on the call, and hopefully everyone enjoys what we're about to say. One of the things you said is being passionate about what you do, and I'll sum up decades into a much shorter time frame. But out of school, when I thought money, chasing the dollar, becoming a stockbroker and day trader, commodities, currency, finance, up to JP Morgan Chase, I managed $100 million book of business. And at the end of the day, I wasn't passionate about it. When you make a guy worth $10 million, an extra few $1,000s on the trade, yay, put that towards my next Ferragamo belt. It's not very fulfilling. And it was until me taking a random trip to Florida, which is still clear as day to me whenever I tell the story. And we went to Port St. Lucie, Florida. Go Mets for you Met fans out there. And then I went to a random gym, and this guy says to me, hey, you want to do a free training session? So I'm like, sure, we can bench and squat and deadlift, and I'm 265-pound tough guy from Staten Island. And he's like, no, you're going to do battle ropes and kettlebells and tire flipping and all your body weight and TRX. And I said, okay. Well, P.S. about halfway through the session, it's clear as day. I'm laying on the floor, gasping for air, saying man, I am totally out of shape. And all this money won't really do me any good, or my family, who I just got engaged, if I'm not around. So I said, F it. And I grabbed my wife and we moved to Florida, and she quit her advertising job and I quit finance, and I became a personal trainer. But then I remember saying to myself, who's going to hire a fat new personal trainer? So I had to take 75 pounds off of myself. 40. Oh yeah, I was at least 75-pound drop. Went from about 45% body fat down to 8%, from a 42-ish waist to a 34. And then I said, okay, now I've built this body. I have this knowledge. I picked up 3 or 4 licenses. that are globally accepted. And I started starting in a local gym. And then we moved to New York. And then I started working in New York Sports Club and one club in Staten Island, then Long Island, then New Jersey. Next thing you know, I'm running a whole area. But again, at the end of the day, I just felt like something was still missing. And I kept going and going and going. And P.S., it was really in December of 18 when I was at Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins, and I was blessed enough to have a little conversation with him briefly. And I, told him how I've been training for 11 years, and now I have over 7 licenses, and I've taken over 10,000 pounds off of people cumulatively, which I'm like, pounding my chest. This is great. And, I still can never forget the look on his face when he just absorbing all of this and goes, yeah, but that's great, Mark, but how are you going to help millions of people? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, 6 people a day, 7 days a week. And he's like, no, you're not listening to me. I said, millions, and more like this. And I said, okay, you know what? And that was it. And full disclosure, Tony didn't invest or become a partner, because I just want to make that clear. But, after that, using words like massive action, I went traveling around and I sampled and tested, and I had the client base already, which was nice. So, everyone was trying topicals and ingestibles, and this doesn't taste right. This doesn't feel good. This isn't strong enough. And after going through a few more events, it happened to be on that beautiful, blessed day I'll never forget, on March 13th, 2019, on my anniversary with my wife. I had my best friend in from New Jersey. It was his birthday. And I just the night before picked up a rent-a-car full of all of what was in here and actually in a product. And I walk into UPW LA and say, here, everybody, try this. And that's where I met Rebecca and Siri and a lot of great people. And it just started going and going. And, what was, let's just say 90% training, 10% CBD started going like this. Now, fast forward 3 months, 6 months, I'm in 6 states. I'm in 12 states. I'm in 3 countries. I'm dealing with athletes, with professionals, with celebrities, with law enforcement. And I have to say that I've had some of the biggest rushes of my life just helping people. I mean, you saw it personally for 9 hours. Now imagine even 9 months of that. Like when I get someone who comes in and their fingers are like this and they can't even bend them that much, and they use the spray and now they're like this. And the lady's crying. Like I remember even in Palm Beach Sports Club in St. Lucie, a woman just hysterical, 32 years. She couldn't have range past this. And in 4 minutes, she was doing this. People who have fibromyalgia that can't lift their hands above here, that are now like, oh my God, I'm doing Zumba classes. A woman who had, you just can't make this stuff up. I remember even it was one of my first big testimonials, and it was on Instagram and Facebook, and they promoted it on a 100-inch screen. I was in a bounce house, and a woman was sitting there with a leg brace on, and I asked her what happened. I said, just take that off and spray it. And I sprayed her knee, and next thing you know, she's walking gingerly. She starts bouncing up and down. She's just hysterical, crying. She had cancer. This woman has not been mobile properly for 4 years and was just hysterical. She runs out of the place. I don't even get her information. They put my picture and her up crying on the screen on a 100-foot monitor. And then I post on Instagram saying, please reply to this so people know that this is real. And she did. And now we're friends. She's a Zumba instructor right now. This woman is a Zumba instructor who couldn't even walk properly from cancer, from bone degradation. So, kids with ADD, animals, it's just unbelievable. And, I've never had more resolve in something to just try to keep pushing forward. And I want to share it and, not to keep going back to TR and thinking of quotes, but, when you lead with your heart, you're smart. And when you come from your head, you're dead, to paraphrase it. I know that ever since over a year ago, I lead from here. And anytime I do that, it's just amazing results. And, now fast forward to the coronavirus and the situation going on, it's tough. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke and tell you it's simple and it's easy. And just because I now have, 12 states and countries and athletes that it's just all flowing in, it's not. But the reality is, you have two choices. You can roll over and die and cry and be upset and watch Netflix all day and complain to everyone and be bitter, or you could try to adapt. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, is to adapt. And, we've all heard the word pivot. We've been on the Rise Up Challenge together for many days already. Big shout out, Peter Vargas. Thank you very much for putting this together. And whoop, whoop, 3 more bonus days now. So it's going to be a 23-day challenge, actually, instead of 20. And we might have some more interesting people. But, I think one of the most important words that we hear on that call is pivot. I can't go to Naga with you in Long Island.
Beautiful experience.
Yeah, I can't go to Vegas. I can't go to UFC. I can't go to tournaments. I can't go to sports club. I can't go to gyms. But at the end of the day, people are still in pain. And getting a little bit technical as far as the analysis of the business, what I'm noticing is on the topical side is going lower because there are no marathons and ultras. There are no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. There are no gyms being open. So the pain factor physically might not be there as much. However,
anxiety,
my sales
sleep
have made up for that. And again, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up you telling you I'm just pouring out of business, but the business that is coming in is, I would say now, to the point of over 80% ingestible, because everyone's suffering from anxiety, from sleep deprivation, from stress, people who need physical activity in order not to get really stiff with the fibromyalgias, the MS, the MD, the inflammation. They're not really getting it. So gummies are flying off the handle. The drops are moving and shaking. Ironically, the lip balms are going. I was going to say, it's so funny. Perfect
every
time.
single day.
Everyone uses the word, it's fun. So you know what? I'm glad for, under $10 I could provide some fun in these days as you put some lip balm on, So yeah, I'm just going to try to keep going and see what we can do. And, thank you for having me on. And I'd like to do the reverse with you. And I would, tell everyone out there, and I discussed this with Jen offline, just in our little circle alone of immediate, I'm not talking about someone we met a year ago at a show and never talked to. I'm talking about people that we Facebook IM and DM and, text and go on each other's calls. We could have 200 of these calls in the bat of an eyelash. So, the last thing I'll say on that note is, as far as pivoting, let's use the computer. Let's use this phone. This is our tool right now. And, are you going to be on this playing, Scrabble word games or whatever? Yeah, I don't even know what the hell. My kids asked me the other day, like,
is Candy Crush still a game?
Right? Candy Crush. Wow, remember that? I don't even know. Now I play like old school video games from 30 years ago, downloaded onto my phone.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Galaga. I played Galaga the other day on my phone. Like, so yeah, you could use it to play Galaga, but, you can also use it to do Zoom call, Facebook, StreamYard, whatever platform you're going to use, but, go out there and use it. And again, I encourage all of us to connect with each other and, look back to like our parents' time. They didn't have any of this. So if my dad wanted to sell widgets, he wouldn't be able to go on Facebook and talk about his widgets. My dad would have to go put a print ad and mail it out and snail mail it and whatever. We don't have time for that in this day and age. It's not a huge platform being used. So now I could just go on here and just press, and now 400 people know about my widgets. So we need to really use that. So yeah, that's my take on some things right now. So
I know you, and I know your passion, and I know your heart in this. I'm still not clear. I'm curious about what got you started in this industry.
Into the CBD? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, listen, we all know the story about, like I said, when Tony kind of just gave the nudge. I mean, let's really get right to it. At the end of the day, after training people for 11 years, and I had even felt like, okay, it's 11 years. I've taken 10,000 pounds off people. 10,000 pounds to me was like my mental marker. That was my point of saying, like, okay, that's a big number. It's a lot of weight. I mean, we're redoing the website, but there used to be a counter running of how much weight was lost, how many clothing sizes, how many clients trained, how much muscle put on. I mean, we put on over like 7,000 pounds of muscle, lost almost 2,000 clothing sizes. It was like something like, I want to say 16 or 1,800 clients and the 10,000 pounds. So, I said to myself, even before going to the event, like, how do I get really big now? How do I really impact more people? So I had a friend actually who, I've been hearing a little bit about the CBD at that point, and he actually owns a CBD company for animals. And, I was kind of looking into it a little bit, and, we were talking and bouncing around, do I get involved with him? Do I do my own? I love animals as well. I have a little dog. I've had dogs my whole life.
My dog's barking.
Yeah, exactly. I gave mine CBD. That's so quiet. Lucky just enjoyed a half a dropper on the 1,000 mg of strawberry. So
I love hearing everyone's dog's names. So cute.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to bring him out after, because when you see him, you're just going to, I think you've seen pictures of him, but yeah, Rhiannon just blew him out the other day. So now he looks like a 14-pound gun stuffed animal. He doesn't even look real. But, I was saying, like, I didn't want to just be involved on the CBD side with animals, because I'd been working with humans for 11 years in fitness, 10 years in finance. So it was kind of like, all right, well, that's just planted a seed in me, but let's tweak it and not necessarily focus on animals. Let's talk about people. And then it was just really, a lot of trial and error and talking to people. At the end of the day, even over 11 years in fitness, I always prided myself on being very particular on any type of product that I sold. Like, in 11 years of fitness, I sold one, make sure, I sold one fitness or / nutrition product. It was a fat burner. It was a fat burner that was made by one of my great friends who I knew for over a decade. And he had people from VPX, the people who make Bang drinks. They used to make NO Shotgun. This day and age, people probably know the Bang energy drinks. So their chemist was involved with this. They had worked on making Redline. Redline was probably one of the greatest fat burners in the history of the world. And once I knew that, that was the chemist-ish behind it, I've taken that product. I've walked through their labs wearing white gowns and gloves and masks, and I've seen the results. So I was very particular, and I got involved with it. And that was the only thing I would touch as far as a product. So I think, now that I'm actually saying this, and for the first time, knowing how particular I was, it was just almost like the product had to come to me. Again, keep quoting a certain someone, life is happening for us, not to us. So I think, my friend, sorry, I'm just wiggling this because I love the matching logos. Great shirt. As this was like being presented to me, my friend had a business with CBD, but it was with dogs. My other friends were opening other supplement lines. And, I was saying I wanted to be involved. So I kind of knew for a year prior or so that I wanted to get involved with a product that helps people, that is in wellness / fitness related. So then that basically boiled down to, a protein powder, a pre-workout, a fat burner, or question mark. And at that point in time, I wasn't, I guess, prepared, synced mentally on my strategy of making pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of shelved that. but stay tuned because there might be some announcements made in the next 30 to 90 days. And actually, while I'm here, I'm just going to say quantum might be expanding its realm. And maybe out of crisis, something great comes out of it. Well, let me rephrase that. Something great will come out of this.
Boom.
Change my language. And I'm very excited to release it. It's just taking a little longer than expected because even when I'm dealing with people now, they're shut. So,
Oh, wow.
you know, I could tell people I want ABC in a jar that looks like this, and this is the ingredients, and this is where you get it, and let's spew it out. Numbers make sense. Let's go. It's not that simple right now because they're closed. They can't get the raw materials. They don't have the workers, But, I think it was a sign. It was brought to me. It was brought to me because that I used to sell the fat burner. It was brought to me because my friend really was moving forward with his dog CBD line. It was brought to me, that even before going to the events or talking with Tony, I started to hear that word CBD popping up more. And, I spoke to a guy yesterday who found me on LinkedIn, and P.S. he owns a dozen medical marijuana shops. And, he's saying to me like, wow, how do you feel about this? You're the pioneer and you're in the first wave. And, depending who you talk to, I think I'm like in the middle. Like I look back now and when I talk to people like from Green Roads who does hundreds of millions of dollars and they started 5-10 years ago, those are pioneers. But at the end of the day, just because you started it years ago doesn't make you any better or any worse. The Hempworks, the Canaways, the multi-level marketing, there's a lot of it out there. And I think that also one of the reasons that were holding me back a little was a connotation of negativity towards when people hear affiliate, network marketing, MLM, it's dirty, it's sleazy. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that because I didn't want to just open up a brick and mortar and say, hey, now I sell CBD. So that was never part of the agenda. And then if I went through the web in a different way, it felt dirty per se. So with all of that in mind, and then going into the event and having the little nudge, saying, after I left that, obviously before I hopped on a plane and flew to Colorado and Jersey and California and all over, it all just kind of sunk in. Well, what if I continue helping people? What if I can do it naturally and clean and not make it a pyramid scheme? What if I just do it, the way I've been doing things? And I didn't know any different of how to do it. My personal training business, I look back now, even let's rewind 10 years ago, we didn't have TikTok or barely, I don't even think Instagram was out. Facebook was there, but like we weren't boosting ads or doing watch parties or lives with Jen. I was like, hey, I'm in pretty good shape. I have 7 licenses. I spent thousands of dollars learning. Why don't you train with me? Okay. And then you get that one client and you're in that big retail gym and, Susie Q is watching me train Lisa, and all of a sudden she follows Lisa for 3 months. Lisa goes from a size 8 to a size 4, and she's like, girl, how'd you do that? Well, Marc Siegel did for me. So then I have her and her friend and her friend. So, it was a whole different world, and the gym was the platform. With CBD, again, we have the platform-ish when the world is flowing and events are going and fighters are fighting and triathletes are competing, but now we don't have that. So, again, because I'm kind of going on a little bit of a tangent here, putting all of the pieces together of continuing to serve, continuing to help, continuing to do it without drugs, it all just kind of fell into place and happened, and I'm truly grateful. Forgetting about just this month, and again, I stay, listen, this is a trying time. I've got 2 kids, a dog, a wife who works from home primarily. I work at home, it can get, a little tense. We're on top of each other. Everyone's stir crazy. I'm a huge extrovert, in case you couldn't tell. And I want to be out there, and I want to talk to people, and I crave growth and connection and all of it. And we just have to use it here from our devices, and we just keep plugging away. And but what I was saying was, even now or last month, I like pinch myself sometimes and say, like, this feels almost like a dream. I remember it's crazy. I remember even in February. Let's think about that, when we were in LA, when I was at Tony's birthday party for the 60th. That had been 11 months from launch to a 6-figure business, and all over the place. It's crazy.
It's beautiful.
And I look back now and say, I spoke to you about this. We were days to a week from doing a full-blown affiliate program. I have the codings already 3/4 done on the website. One thing that people don't even really know, maybe 5 people knew, we were about a week to 2 weeks away from possibly opening a retail location. So I thank God.
Thank God.
That, I can't even imagine if I had scaled out a full-blown affiliate program, launched a marketing campaign.
Life's happening for.
What's up?
Life's happening for who?
Life is happening for us, not to us. Exactly. I was guided to not open that location.
Beautiful. I have
the scary part
questions for you.
The funniest thing is the location is next door to the gym, which I thought would be a great, obviously,
wow,
flow of traffic. They're closed.
Wow.
And they might go out of business.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Wow.
Happening for us, not to us.
Yeah. So I've always been curious, but I haven't asked, why quantum?
So quantum, it's funny, I could still remember, God, where was that? 12 years ago, maybe, sitting with Rhiannon at the pool, and we just had a notepad out, and we just started writing. So first we were like, write a whole bunch of names that are just even cool. Just make cool names. We're like, okay. So we did all the cool names, and then we're like, start writing names with meaning and why and what. And then I remember at one point somehow, I think it was we were talking about how I would say to a lot of clients, you just need that smallest bit of drive or hope or belief. All you need, in personal training world, look, anyone could go on Zoom, get a Beachbody DVD, run around your house, everyone could figure out a way to exercise somehow. But the end of actually, let me rephrase that. In the beginning of all that is you need that little oomph. You need that drive. You need that belief. You need to know that, okay, I am going to run every day for a month straight because I will lose weight. I want to lose weight because these pants don't fit me right. I want to lose weight because I am huffing and puffing when I play with my kids. P.S. The true definition of quantum is the smallest measurable piece of something. So I started playing on it. And again, not Facebook, Instagram, TikTok marketing campaign, just starting using things like, if you have the smallest glimmer of hope, if you have the smallest quantifiable, and then one day I was saying quantifiable, and I'm like, quantifiable, how would that be cool? Quantum. And then I said, babe, how's quantum sound? She's like, that sounds cool. Let me go ask 100 people.
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
I asked 100 people, and over 90 said it was awesome.
Dope. I love that.
So smallest measurable amount. Some dictionaries view it also as the smallest measurable amount of energy or light. So listen, to me, that's all energy, light, drive, focus, desire, passion, purpose. You can use many different words you want to use, but quantum is the smallest measurable amount of that. And then it stuck and it just kept going. And then everything used to be all green because green was health, green was vitality. And I remember having white and green business cards and black and green. And we stayed with those colors for 9-10 years. And then all of a sudden, when we did quantum CBD, I'm not a marketing guru. So, I mean, I don't know if you remember, you probably do, depending when I met you, the drops used to be yellow, the topicals were light blue.
You just were changing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So because through these events, and I met some people, and someone recommended, sitting with someone who really knows marketing and has done this. And I'll leave names out, but someone's event directed me to a certain someone who had me sit down with a guy who has put out over $800 million in retail product, and he's not even 40. So I'm all ears. And I drove 3 hours to have a dinner with him. And basically 2 weeks prior, I'd sent all the products out to him and I let him try it. And he's like, can we be frank here and just talk real talk? I'm like, yeah, come on. Those of you who know me, I'm pretty tough skin. He's like, okay, product's amazing. Looks like shit. He's like, this is amateur hour. He's like, and these gummies, I can't even look at this label. And
I love the gummies.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I love the product. Oh, we're sitting there freaking eating gummies while we're talking. But actually he was one of the people who said, I don't like the green ones. So I said, okay, the hell with the green one. Then I said, you know what, before I scrap that, let me go ask another 50 people. And I think 30 something weren't a big fan of the green ones. Okay, no green ones. So, next thing you know, we start talking about colors. It's got to be one uniform thing, and we just kept, again, brainstorming, and I have to give credit to my awesome wife, because she's an integral part of the conceptions of all of this. What do we call this? What color do we make this? We're doing the whole website over right now. You're not even going to look at it and be like, what was this website in a matter of a week from now? You will not even recognize it. And she's a big part of that. She sees the vision. She sees the visual. And, we said black was just, black is black, black is forever. And gold, it seems to be making a comeback the past couple of years in everything. I remember even jewelry. I remember a few years ago, everybody said, no more gold. Gold is like 80s. Gold is disgusting. Exactly.
My mom just gave me this necklace. It was my Nana's.
Right. Exactly. Oh. So this necklace, when I was a baby, I wore this my whole life, as a rope chain of gold. And then Rhiannon had it dipped in white gold. So now
it's the same thing.
Like, oh, nice silver necklace. I'm like, no, this is my gold necklace. I've had this charm since I'm 8 days old.
Is that the horn?
No, this is a little mezuzah. It's like basically symbolizes the thing that's on the door in the Jewish people's houses when the scrolls are in it. And this is what it symbolizes. I got this as a gift for my circumcision when I was 8 days old.
Wow.
So this thing is approaching 5 decades.
Wow.
But going back to gold and silver, and then this one, we obviously all know what this is. This is my foundation necklace. This one is, what's that? I accept my greatness with gratitude.
Jade?
No, this is the one that has all the cool colors. And truthfully, I just said I wanted the one that has all the cool colors on it and have the matching bracelet, not wearing it. But yeah, going back to it, gold all of a sudden became popular. And people started redipping all of their jewelry back into gold. And next thing you know, I'm seeing my wife coming home with a gold necklace and a gold bracelet. And then we're like, all right, gold. So black and gold looks pretty. The number one consistent word I kept hearing was sexy. And
it's very sleek, very modern.
Who doesn't like sleek and sexy? So there it is. And voila, we have great product with a sleek and sexy packaging. And a great story, and now we just have to share it with the world.
I know we're pushing time, but I have one more question. So I'll try and make it quick. know that you had a big part at the last Business Mastery, and you guys won, and it was to help Australia and the
Yep.
relief funds. And I remember you telling me the day after, I believe it was like that you had a dream.
Yes. Oh, that was crazy.
Can you just share that? Because I
Yep.
think it's going to help people.
Oh yeah, I'll make it a shorter version. So I've been to, I think that was my third Business Mastery, and in my first one, I kind of was like watching, observing when they do these competitions. I was on one team that did meh. On the second one, I was involved with Kavan with my purpose and flooded the room with 2,000 fuchsia T-shirts, which I still wear to date. My purpose is to help heal the world one person at a time. So, P.S. I go into this Business Mastery, and I was like, I want to win this thing. I want to go on stage, and I want to win this thing, and that's it. And normally, I go into these events, and it's like, oh my God, it's a hug love fest. It's hundreds of people that we all know. And for some reason, this Business Mastery was the least amount of people that I ever knew. And I still remember when they had the groups. And for those of you who don't know, because you're like, what is he talking about? Imagine 2,500 plus people in a room in groups in a rectangle of groups of 100. And then out of those 100, you break out into little groups of 7 to 10 people, make a mock business, do a charity piece to it usually. So I walk over, thank you, Michael Savage, the trainer, who I know you are familiar with. And I stand up in front of like 100 people and I go, I've been here before, and I have a vision, and I want to win Business Mastery. So who's with Marc Siegel? And I just throw my hands up, and I swear to God, like 75 people walk over to
that
me.
Conviction.
Boom, boom. And they're like, what's up? And I'm like, how many of you have been to BM before? And like 3 people raise their hand. And I'm like, oh my God. So now I have the 75 people, most newbies I've ever met at any Robbins event ever. And we're talking about how we're going to win the whole thing. So I said, you know what? That's it. We're going to do it. Let's go. Next thing you know, Jay Adkins, big shout out. He was my smooth talking CEO. And then we had an artist and the founders and the funding and the marketing and the advertising. And we went out and had a vision and had 1,600 shirts designed and overnighted. And we all started rocking them. And we started raising money. We're through 5 grand, 10 grand, 20, 30, 40. And then PS, to get to your point, and I think the video might be out on the Help Our Mates page still. I, the night before, had a dream, clear as day, that I remember them saying, and the winner with over 400 people, the largest group in Business Mastery history, is Help Our Mates. And we all go rushing up on stage. And then I get the microphone and I basically try to talk a little bit in between crying and being happy and all that. And then I hand the microphone over to the CEO, Jay, and he smooth talks it out. And then we say happy birthday to Tony, because it was in the birthday month. And, that was the night before. And I'm toning it down, but I was screaming and cursing and all hyped up. But that was the dream. The next day, we're sitting there on Sunday. I think it was January 14th, and he's going through. And then all of a sudden he says, and the number 2, which is Kavan and Darius, my good friends, and they help raise money to bring a lot of kids to UPW, which hopefully one day we'll have one that we can go to. And then basically says, and the winner of Business Mastery. And they got a whole bunch of people together, and while Tony's talking, I'll never forget, I took my phone out and I look at the Facebook page and it says 405 members. So, you can't make it up. I said the night before that, and I even knew from the beginning that we'd have to get numbers like that to pull off an overwhelming victory, because no one has got 400 people together in one team. And then he said, come on up. And then, Tony's like, hey, who started this thing, got together? And I'm like, me, Tone. And he gives me a big hug and gave me the microphone. And then he says, go. And you're like, and that's burned, obviously, into my mind. And the last thing I'll say is I still remember exactly what I said or tried to say. And I said, before we go any further, and I have no voice left, by the way, from screaming. So I have no voice. I'm trying not to hysterically cry. And I said, I want to thank you, Tony, for helping me be a better husband to my beautiful queen over there. And I pointed to my wife. And then I said, and helping me be a better father to my children and helping inspire me to start a business that I serve more people in the past 11 months than I have in 11 years. And then the place went crazy and they played the music and I just started crying and I just gave the mic over. And then exactly like in the dream, and then Jay with the suit and, hey, this was our vision, and talks it all through. And then hand a cake with a kangaroo on it from our Australian spokesperson on Australia Day.
Wow.
So talk about, serendipity, life happening we won raising money for animals in Australia on Australia Day as our Australian girl hands him a birthday cake. And I start getting everyone, and we all sing happy birthday. And that was it. So yeah, manifest destiny, believe it, you can achieve it. I have it on video proof timestamps. So it was one of the most amazing experiences. I'll never forget it. And stay tuned, because recently I just got a slew of new photos and video from their team that I have permission now to release.
Beautiful.
Booyah.
Well, Marc, I really appreciate you
Yes,
and sharing and giving me the opportunity to learn from you and build a friendship with you. I'm grateful for that.
No, it's my pleasure. Please, I can't wait. I can't wait to interview you. We're going to come back and hear the Jen Dalton story. That's a whole story within its own right, too. And everyone has a story. And, let's share it. If you have a story, that's the last thing I'm going to say, because I'll do this all day. The last thing I'll say is, if you have a story that you feel is worth sharing, that will add value, that will help someone. I don't care if there's one person watching this video right now that says, man, holy shit, this guy was like a banker, then he was a trader, then he was a trainer, then he was a CBD guy. You can do it. I'm not a rocket scientist. I wasn't born, what did I say, from the Lucky Sperm Club. I don't have a trust account. I came from a meager upbringing, but a good upbringing and a tight family. So just believe in yourself. You can do it. Keep your head up. Everyone stay safe. Learn to deal with this. This will end. And trust me, from someone who wants to, I'm coming out of my skin, that I want to be out there and dancing and hugging and massaging and talking and healing and helping, it'll happen. So just, whenever you get down and you're thinking of those moments, that you were, you just get depressed, think of those moments when you were doing that. I talked to Raf in Texas, one of the Platts that we were just saying, I was in his house in March with 200 people celebrating, and it's not even 2 months later, and it's like another dimension. We're in another world. So just remember that. We'll be back. You can do it. Pivot, get nimble, get on calls, and just help people. Just pick up the phone and call someone who you think is depressed or might need a little cheering up or needs just something. Just help serve people, do the right thing, stay healthy, be safe. Love you.
Love you, Marc. Love you guys. I trust that you found value today, and can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Take care.
Ciao. Marc, stay on. Well done.
Yep.